Hi, good evening, welcome back. It's the Student StarCraft AI tournament with the weekly broadcast. Kicking off today are TSEMU, the Terran, versus a Marian Defecker's Zerg called Killerbot. And, well, again, we don't really have a theme. There is one player I'd like to show you a couple of games of because it's pretty impressive. Wouldn't really spring to mind from watching the ladder or just the... Well, if you watch a lot of games, perhaps you might notice that this bot is really playing the socks off some of the major contenders for titles, and well, that's pretty interesting. But starting off a little bit more slowly with calming music from the Terran theme, and well, Killerbot is going to play it pretty safe. The scouting SCV just takes it. Oh, there it is again. And now it's heading right back home. TSEMU going for 2 factories, and what's spinning? It's a spider mine. So that's, I'd say, a good decision. And of course, on the other end of the map, it's already the Spire, which is brewing or morphing. And when the Spire will be done, it's time for some neuter action, of course. I don't know if this is really... Oh god, here we go again. Oh, already? And the Mutas, they don't really want to bother. They are going after something else. While the Vulture is in the main base, and even the other Muta doesn't really care about it. But we've got the Mutas in the main of TSEMU, and well, that's quite devastating. Going to kill a lot of SCVs and ignoring the Marines for now, but you can see, oh, finally they're going to fight a little bit and targeting the Goliath. And TSEMU is sort of on top of things, has got a couple of Goliaths, a couple of Marines, and of course with 3 factories and the thingy, the armory done. Oh, but that's very unfortunate. The Goliaths are pretty afraid, and even this Vulture in the main can't get anything done, or not a lot. There is another one. But right now, oh god, the armory is done, and the Goliaths are afraid, and of course they've got a bit of firepower, but they don't really have the balls at this point. Oh, and this Vulture is still in there. Could kill a lot of drones, is now starting to do so slowly. Not really. And the mutant cloud is growing, and now the Goliaths are going to die. Look at the... Wow, that's 16 mutas, and they are doing such a lot of damage. So muta play is really, well, has been started off by Killerbot, so not with undue praise that I show you Killerbot's game. And what are they doing now? So TSEMU's got a minefield, 2 SCVs mining, not a lot of money. Oh, and finally they decide to pick on the machine shop and the rest of the factories, and Killerbot, oh well, could be losing a lot of workers. What's it building? Just mutas and workers for the time being. Could do with another sunken just to prevent entry from these vultures over here. But instead it just keeps on sending out drones, and that's rubbish. But the mutas in the main have things well under control, and now they are coming back. Presumably that's Muta Cloud about 27, exactly 27 strong. And of course the natural expansion is not a logical place to start your search. And Killer is, oh, building another hatch. Has got a lot of workers, but oh, finally the vultures have been cleaned up. And they just exploded in there, and TSEMU is restarting in an unusual position, but you never know. The mutas are on the prowl. They must be about 30 right now. And TSEMU, what are you going to do? Build a couple of depots, and oh, this might be interesting. Lots of workers. Should be all about getting an eBay up and a lot of turrets for the time being, but then again, the mutas are totally lost, it seems, and that's so unlike TSEMU. Usually it's pretty on the bounce, but you never know. And perhaps they will find, yes, they will find the main and kill it again. But still lots of work. Oh, there we go, and this must be it. That is a mute cloud of about 50. TSEMU leaves the game, and that was the game. So, yes. Well, let's do this one first. Ironbot got updated and Howpan as a result of that, so let's see which of these two Gentlebots has got the upper hand at the moment. Starting at the incredible speed of 16 and see that Howpan is doing a bunker rush. That's a little bit cruel, but Iron is pretty resourceful, so that might work. Still, I think that if you've got a couple of vultures, and I'm sure one is being produced right now, you can sort of hold these marines at bay, especially with some repair. That said, a lot of workers are dying, but now I think that Ironbot has got the upper hand, and the marines will have to run back to the bunker, and there is no bunker leapfrog right behind that or in front of that. So I think that Iron is sort of okay. The refinery is under attack, but then again there is only one marine in there, so that's not all that dangerous. But with the SCV for repair, you can't really out-micro bunker as a vulture. You can, however, kill the marines, and well, the proxy barracks is still there. So I think that, yeah, I know this is not a good position to build a building. I don't know what it is, but it shouldn't be here. And you can see all the SCVs are getting quite damaged as well. So even though Howpan is not directly dealing the killing stroke, it's doing a lot of damage, and Ironbot is not analyzing this correctly at all. Could do with the siege tank, and I fear that is exactly what's coming out of Howpan. So nice build order, but Iron should repair its SCVs as well, or get some vultures out on the map. That would be really worth it. Just sneak a couple of SCVs and vultures down to the low ground. Oh, and here comes the first tank, and that's bad news, because now the vultures will not only have to contend with a bunker with a couple of marines in it, but also with a siege tank, and the tank is dealing out the damage by the bucket load. Iron is building vultures. That's not going to cut it, I fear. Now with 2 siege tanks, Howpan is doing great, and I think that if you've got the functionality of Ironbot and then add some build orders, we saw in the last finals, 2018 finals, which Purple Wave won, how important build orders actually are. And I think that Howpan is doing great by implementing some custom build orders. You can see it demolishing its progenitor Iron in quite devastating fashion. So yeah, there we go. Another update we had was Banana Brain, and I thought, well, why not pit it against Killerbot? Took a replay of that, and let's see what that's all about. And of course, Banana Brain being coded by a countryman of mine, that is certainly very interesting. Scouting drone arrives, playing tag with a couple of zealots. Oh, and dies quite quickly. That's unfortunately, and of course, the Overlord sees everything. And the question always is, if you do see everything, and this must be Citadel, that is quite the guarantee for some kind of Dark Templar play. And of course, Killerbot is always playing rather defensively with a couple of Sunkens and an Overlord overhead. That said, if there aren't going to be any Corsairs to deal with the Overlord, I'd say that Killer is right on top of things. And that must be the Spire. So yeah, there we go. Okay, so gateway attack. Oh, and there aren't any links, so this may be very, very, very dangerous for Killer. You can see there is only one Sunken left. And what's coming out of Killer now? Nothing. I fear that the Natural must be abandoned. And with the Templar Archives done, I fear there must be a Dark Templar on the way. But that said, it's just a gateway push that might finish this, because the Spire is ages in finishing. And a little bit of time will be bought by sacrificing a drone over here, and a lot of hit points in these two buildings. But Killerbot really hasn't got a plan. If you lose your Natural like that, you need a couple of Sunkens and a couple of Zerglings to fight in tandem with good micro. Not happening. And it looks like there isn't going to be any Dark Templar, because it's just going to be goons from here on. And, oh, there is one neuter at least, that's pretty good. There is a creep colony, it's not a Sunken yet, and with the workers and the links and the one neuter, oh dear, that's pretty late. Killerbot, what are you doing? But perhaps the links might buy some time, and now they have got to pull back, and you can stage some kind of rearguard action with the neuter and the links and the Sunken. But with now 5 or 4 goons, I think this is pretty much over, and one mutant can't really do all that much. Natural, meanwhile, up and running by Banana Brain. Banana Brain taking Killabot to pieces in quite devastating fashion. So, yeah, you need about 100 blasts to kill a single zealot like that, and a 2 base economy versus a 0 base will quickly finish that up. So that's the GG, and let's hop into the next game. And I say it just to have it out of the way. The ELO rating right now is Cutest on top. And then Sada, and they don't really escape each other by a large margin. Then Purple Wave, the champion, is struggling a little bit, 150 points down, and then it's Ironbot doing really great. Crazier Protoss hanging in there with that cheesy build order. Proxy doing okay, Microwave doing good, Reaver doing good as well. So beyond this pair of Gosu bots, there is really a rather large group of contenders right behind that. And of course it will all be about the state of the game and the updates you are able to push. And well, waiting really is at this moment for the next large revolution in gameplay. We had Killabot with the Muta Micro, we had Cutest with the Goons, and Sada with a very solid Terran play. And of course Sada has been taking a fair lot of beatings by all the other bots because it's so... oh dear, that is some proxy shenanigans right here by Cutest. But Sada is pretty resilient, and as you can see, that Sada has last been updated in 2018, so I would really like to see another update for that, but of course you can't really force it, so yeah, what do? You can only wait for... oh god, something like that, and let's pray. Yeah, there we go. Damn it. I messed that up. Well, Cutest and versus Sada. Which one was it? I don't know. Let's see. 4-2. This one was it? And with a little bit of luck, we have got it back on stream. I always do that. Sorry about that. So yeah, got to tone down the volume a little bit. But Sada has been persecuted by a lot of bots, and one of them is Cutest. No, Cutest is going pretty much all in. Going for a proxy gateway, and of course, if Sada isn't going to update, things like these might be hard to detect, short term and long term. You need to be able to select a build order to counter that. This, I think, is going to be a pretty quick factory, and vultures might help, but I've got this nasty feeling that this is not going to be about a zealot push, it's going to be about Dark Templar. Now that's good and all, and as you can see, the Templar thing is a long way off still, but Sada really hasn't got too much to detect that. It's got a bunker, it's got some... oh, and it's done already. It hasn't got an eBay, it will have a turret, and that turret will be finished. Yes, there we go. But right now we've got 2 DTs in the main, and that's not good. We've got 1 turret being built in the main. The tanks will be at it, but the DTs have too much DPS. And right now you just need to evacuate the whole show towards the natural and get some marines in that bunker and try to do it that way. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And Sada hasn't really got a concept of what a DT rush is, and these Dark Templars are microed expertly. They've got such good prioritizing, and right now we've got goons over here and a couple of tanks, just 1-2 tanks here, turret there. You'd be pretty safe versus an all-in strategy like a DT rush, but so much money and effort is still being poured into this main, and being regulated by heuristics, that's very hard for a bot to get a real grasp of what a... oh, there goes the command center, that's pretty good. But still, these combat units, they keep flipping about in the main and being at risk of taking a lot of damage, and this is not really a safe place for a good command center to go. But perhaps once the entire main has been wrecked, that these units will find something useful to do. Meanwhile, it's going to be about a lot of damage, and with the repair, I think that How many Marines are there? There are 4 Marines, so that's good. I think that Sada might still hang in there. And the bunker falls, and now it's going to be pretty tough because these combat units are still messing about here. While this DT has got this under control, and now the game should be as good as over. And Sada hasn't really got a good anti-DT build order and suffers horribly because of that. So there we go. Have we got one more game of Sada? No. We've got a couple of games of Mcgrave. And before, of course, we hop into the next game, but we've got the Cutest versus Purple Swarm. I would have sworn I've taken Purple Wave because I'd like to see that build order again. But Purple Swarm isn't bad at all, so perhaps that's going to be interesting as well. I'm sure, actually, that it is going to be interesting. 2 cannons, nice build order. Here will be... Oh, that is pretty hungry. Will be the gateway, and then you've got a good SimCity, and you can do a lot of things. Scouting probe is still gathering information like a madman, but you see over here that Purple Swarm is going for a lot of hatcheries all over the place, and that is something that this probe will not see. It could be deduced because that is a very late pool and no other technology at all, and right now 1 Zealot and 1 Goon are going to be sent out. And will we have... We've only got drones right now. We've got 1 Hydra, and that will take some doing before it's ready. But these bases over here are done. So the Hydra den is over here, hidden in plain sight. And right now the drones will have to contend with the 1 base killer gateway push. And the Hydras will be coming down the ramp. So perhaps if they got really good micro, but they are really rather suicidal. And although I think that with a build order like this you can make it happen, if you keep suiciding units like this, it will be pretty hard. So yeah, that said, 2 base Cutest is going to be pretty rough to handle, especially if you haven't got an army to oppose it. Main is not contested. 3rd is in tatters. This 1 Hydra just keeps mum and then suicides regardless. So yeah, that's pretty aggravating to watch. And the Cutest army is just going to grow, so that figures that you have got to have some kind of army control. And the Cutest keeps scouting, keeps killing bases. 3rd base operational, no fancy tech yet, it's just gateways and goons. Upgrades, or could push extra upgrades if you are going to commit to goons. And Purple Swarm, nice plan, but the execution could be a little bit better, and still now it's building workers, at least as many as it can. While Purple Wave's production tab, the Cutest production tab, is much more interesting. So yeah, there we go, and now we've got 100 supply armies scouring the map for whatever. Purple Swarm's out of money, and I'm just going to call the GG because I've never seen... Oh, there it is. There is the army, and that was the game. So yes, we've got 2 more games. We've got Mcgrave Zerg again versus Mcgrave Protoss, and both of them have been updated, so I thought, well, why not have this outlook on the game. Mcgrave, of course, has been absent for a little while, is back, and it's not really managed to gain dominance in the new AI world. It's pretty tough to do so, and you can see that any player which does has got the devil's job to stay in number 1 or one of the top positions. And now we've got a small offering of gas attached to a scouting drone, and these go in the wrong direction. But now the enemy base has been found. Oh, and we've got the battle of the gas-bearing scouting workers, and the drone just sort of keels over. Must be a little bit low. And there we go. So now we've got a bit of a skirmish coming up with some zealots, and for the life of me I can't understand why these zealots are running, but perhaps there is some superior tech on its way, and the Zerglings have got their... well, have got something to do. So, Spire coming up, okay, that's a 2-base Buter, and got the first Corsair already, so perhaps with a couple of good Scourge, things might work out for Mcgrave Zerg. That said, I've always felt that the Mcgrave Protoss is a lot better. And right now, this is the 2nd Overlord already to fall, and now Mcgrave Zerg will be supply blocked. 2 Corsairs already, and if you are going to play 2-base Muta, you'd better make sure you've got some kind of a... Oh dear, this is going to be horrible. And you can see Mcgrave Zerg is spending money on Overlords, and the Spire's still not done, and these 2 Corsairs are just going to hover over... Oh dear, that might... This is not good at all. At a snail's pace, this Overlord is flying towards its doom. Will we have more Corsairs? Yes, we will. Handful of Zergans can't really get it done. And right now, the other Overlord is sacrificing itself as well. So, Mcgrave, what are you going to do? You've got 1 Muta coming up. But versus 2, 3 Corsairs, that's not going to work at all. And now, majorly supply block. The only supply is coming up from the 2 hatcheries. And... what's Mcgrave Zerg spending his money on? Oh, on Sunkens. That's pretty good. And it's not building Overlords at all. So that's... and why are all these drones over here? Okay, so Mcgrave Protoss is doing what it must, while the Zerg is flapping all over the place and has got quite an aerial army now. And it will take some while for a ground army to form up. But I wonder, I really do, what all these scouting workers are doing. It's too crazy, really. But with the 2 gates, 5, 6 gates producing units now, it should not be long before there is a ground army to kill off these these Sunkens. And right now we've got 9 Corsairs doing a devil's dance over here. I don't really know what they are doing. And the ground army is stuck as well on God knows what. Oh, now finally they find the Zergling. And will they? Yes, it is a good day to die. And some Zealots may end today, but the majority of them will be in fine shape to demolish the Zerg base. Oh, and a lot of gas is still being mined. So, GG, I think I overestimated Mcgrave Zerg. So, I sort of anticipated that. And also I wanted to show you Microwave, because Microwave is doing pretty good. And I fancy the game between Mcgrave and Microwave. That's never disappointing, or hasn't been in the past. There is always the chance, because these bots may do quite erratic things at times. But for now we've got gas, 1 base, quick expansion, scouting probe all over the place. That's pretty good. Pool coming up. And this might be either a quick expand or nope, it's going to be 1 base goon or 1 gate goon for the time being. Scouting Overlord is going to find it, scouting probe is going to die, and the question will be, oh, that's a very nice trick. I like Mcgrave doing that, just taking the high ground, denying scouting information if it weren't for this Overlord seeing everything. But right now the enemy hasn't, well, once this Overlord is dead, enemy won't have any info on the base, and these Zealots, these Zerglings, they can't get in. So yes, there we go, Microwave, 20 drones, droning very, very, very hard, and should be thinking about producing an army. Has got this in-base hatchery for extra larvae, and I feel that these drone numbers are a little bit too high compared to the army numbers. Of course, you've got the scouting information, but the thing is that this Protoss army will grow in strength considerably, and now we've got a Corsair as well, and what have you got to show for it? 2 Sunkens, no army at all, and no major technology yet either. So you've got a Hydra then, and immediately some Hydras are being built. I hope they will be on time before Overlord dies. Of course, the Corsair is pretty hungry, and another one is on its way, and now there are Hydras. And with the 2 Sunkens you might do well, but that's a lot of Zealots already. So for the time being it's a bit of a standoff. Lots of workers for Microwave. Could do with a Spore, because you've got to keep your entire army at your main base to help and defend. But for the time being I think these Zealots and Corsairs are pretty much countered by... oh, this is just sloppy. And the Corsairs are being chased, but not really effectively. And that is your problem right there, because if you had 1 or 2 spores and you could defend your Overlord with those. Oh, and now the Hydras are moving out, and there are only Zealots and Corsairs, and now is Mcgrave at the short end of the composition stick, so to speak. And Microwave could do with a 3rd base. Oh, and a Spore over here, because if it loses these 3 Overlords it's going to be pretty painful. Oh, and some Hydras are coming back. All the Hydras are coming back, actually. Oh, no, a small group is here. So, good support micro by Mcgrave. And look at Microwave microing these Zealots down. Have they got upgrades? Yes, they have got speed and range. And the Zealots haven't got anything. Yeah, +1 starting. But versus a Hydra army, that's not really your best bet, is it? And now the Overlord is there, but it's outside of range of the Spore. And that's silly. But with 2 Spores now here, I think that Microwave is in a pretty good position. Now laying siege to Mcgrave, and Mcgrave really ought to build some Goons or perhaps a Reaver. And instead it's just building more Zealots and Corsairs, and that's not really working. Citadel just finished. I think Templar might make a nice addition to your army, but it should have been done a little bit earlier. And these Overlords, they should seek a safer place right on top of this Spore, might be nice. And Microwave, as I said, could do with another hatchery. Now the Hydra count is growing, and these Zealots, they can't really do too much about it. You can see Mcgrave's army count is decreasing. And if it is 18, that's 14 in Corsairs, which don't really do much to stop Hydras. So the Hydra crowd is there now, and still no third by Microwave, but Microwave, I think, has got this game well read. Mcgrave isn't really all that adaptive versus Hydra Blade, just more Zealots, and oh, perhaps there are Dark Templars which could rescue the day, but they ought to be produced right. Oh, it's a High Templar, and Storm isn't even done yet, so chances are that this is going to end bloody. The Corsairs, they commit to a raid on the Overlords. I think that's good. Temporarily supply blocking Microwave, but the main army is in the main mineral line, and yeah, it's not going to work. There is 1 Templar. Storm's not yet done. It hasn't got energy, so I don't really... you've got to be a bit more flexible if you are going to counter a Zerg build order. And that's just the adaptive play thing coming into... not coming into play. Oh, there is 1 Dark Templar now, which is pretty good. And the Overlords, of course, haven't got speed, so they're going to take forever. And the Corsairs are still in control of the map. This 1 Dark Templar is taking all the Hydras apart. But it's going to take forever. And as you see, there is no income for Protoss. So where is that Dark Templar? Oh, did it leave the base? Oh, it's here. And of course it's doing a lot of damage. It must have about 20-30 Hydra kills right now. That's very expensive for Zerg. But I don't really see Protoss getting too much done. Still no third for Microwave. That's interesting. What's it building? Oh, it's building a hive. Where is the hive? Oh, beneath this. But the game's over, and Mcgrave being a little bit inflexible, and Microwave with a 2-base build order doing just fine. Okay, oh, and I have got a Cutest versus Purple Wave. That's pretty good. As I said, we've only got a minor theme for today, and that's about the player I'm saving for last. We've got 2 games leading up to that. We've got this one, and I have got... oh, that's very good. A nice PvT as well. For the time being, it's Cutest versus Purple Wave. Top 2 Protoss on the ladder right now. Banana Brain's doing good. Needs a little bit more effort still, I think, but these are the big 3 Protoss of the moment. And, well, Crazio Protoss doing quite well as well. And the rumored return of Crazio Terran is still not, has not come to pass. Again, denying scouting information, that's pretty good. And Purple Wave is leading the charge with, I think, 2 Zealots and a Goon, and we've got a superior army waiting for it from Cutest, and Cutest has already got 2 Goons, and the Goon micro from Cutest is just so good, and I don't really know why Purple Wave is getting in there. That's just not how it's done. Cutest playing it fine, just taking the high ground. Grouping of the army is... they are all retreating and advancing at the same time, so that will mean that the Zealots are exposed until these Goons manage to show up to the fight. And that way Purple Wave can get a little bit done. But now there are 3, 4, 5, 6 Goons out for Cutest, and oh god, Dark Templars from Purple Wave. Purple Wave, oh, and immediately these units head back to base, and there is nothing there. So I don't really think Cutest is learning much, because the finals of the 2018 tournament looked a lot like this either. DTs all over the place. And there is a forge, and there should be cannons right here, right now, and not a little bit later. So, yes, I think that Purple Wave is doing well in the build order department, as noted earlier. This cannon will probably finish, and these Dark Templars had better start swiping probes, but now there are so many goons of the Cutest that it's going to be easy going for them. And still, the overall army size is hugely in favor of the Cutest, and there are no Dark Templars following this up. So that's a little bit rubbish. And now, although Purple Wave has got a couple of cannons for added defense, the defense isn't as such that I think that it's going to make much of a difference before all these angry goons come in. Range for both players, and nice concave with the bridge. I think that Purple Wave can hold this after all, but it will have to play pretty well, and of course the Dark Templar is there. Will we have any kind of mobile detection? No, not yet. We have got... oh, there is the observatory coming up, and the Cutest taking the opportunity to expand itself with 2 cannons just to make sure. And let's hope that the Dark Templar... where is it? Oh, they are here. Oh, the goons, they come in, and if they can kill the cannons, should kill the cannons, should commit to kill the cannons, because that really would make that base quite useless. And now, of course, the Cutest is kept in his base, but there is an observatory, and there is the observer, so there you go. 3rd base started for Purple Wave. The Cutest has got, I think, the lead in... oh god, look at that. Purple Wave... it's a goon versus goon battle, and the Cutest, not surprisingly, has got a good concave, but has got 2 fronts on its radar, and is now mopping up goons of Purple Waves one at a time. And that Purple Wave is hesitating, hasn't got the support it needs, and I think that the Cutest is coming in for the kill right soon. And you can see in this situation with a good concave, you can do a lot versus advancing goons. And here as well, oh dear, these Dark Templar production should have been cut. Unfortunately, it hasn't happened. And now Purple Wave is out on the field with a smaller army and a little bit hesitant. And the Cutest just know what it wants. It wants to kill the natural, do damage. Dark Templar is there. There isn't Storm yet. That's going to be iffy. And of course, these AIs are quite good at dodging storms, so I don't really think this is worth it. A couple of cannons might work wonders as well. 3rd is up and running. The Cutest with no 3rd of its own, but it has got a 32 versus about 14 army supply lead. And if your cannons are getting low like this, you know it's time to build another row of them, because this concave at the bridges is pretty nice. Zealots, though, are not the answer, and here is the Dark Templar. Storm is done. Will we have more Dark Templars? No, not yet. And the Cutest now has found the other base, is killing workers over there. Will we have... oh, you need to have 1 killer Storm, but that was 1 Storm. Oh, the Observer got killed, that's good. And now there is a Dark Templar, so I think that Purple Wave might hang in there. The Cutest with the 3rd while killing the 3rd of its own, and that's just great prioritizing. This High Templar should just stay the hell away from any bat... oh, there it goes. Okay, well, enough said. And the Cutest with 2 squads is doing quite well, even though it's taking a lot of hits from these Dark Templar. And is there an Observer in play at all? Yes, there are 3. So, oh, here it's coming in, just now. And I think that's the last of Purple Wave. The Cutest just coming in too strong with the good micro. And nice build trickery by Purple Wave, but straight up goon battles is still the minion of the Cutest, is still its bread and butter, and it's so very, very deadly. And you can see now 40 versus 14 army supply, the natural completely overrun, and without, well, Purple Wave is producing stuff, but it's just being absorbed by the superior army, which has now breached bridges, and the 3rd base is getting demolished quite thoroughly. The Cutest now with 3 bases versus 2, superior army might speed it up just a little notch, because although Purple Wave is fighting for what it's worth, oh, 2 cannons coming in now, that's good, but should be adaptive. Oh, 1 gets killed already. So if you are under pressure, you should build a couple more, because they are doing quite well in this contained area. The Cutest, though, with the 4th base already started, worker count 55 to 37. Even the best concave in the world can't help you, especially not if you are trying to fight goon-to-goon battles with the Cutest. And the cannon is up, and the cannon is dead. And now there is only one cannon. There is only 8 army supply. There is nothing coming in. Main 4 purple waves getting low, and the 4th will soon be populated for the Cutest. A 5th already. Wow, that's impressive. And interestingly, the Cutest is finally now starting a Templar Archives. That must be for the not even for the upgrades. The Cutest, without a lot of fancy tech, is going to just win with gateway units, and if your Goon Micro is that good, why not? Immediately also checking all the expansions just to be safe, and Purple Wave, yeah, what can you do? That is the GG, and the penultimate game of today will be Banana Brain versus Sada. Will be interesting to see because, well, Sada has been pretty good, Banana Brain has gotten the last update and is pretty good of its own. So, yeah, there we go. Gateway first, and here we've got a barracks and a depot, and will there be a bunker? No, not yet. And Banana Brain starting out with a 2-gate, which is pretty good, but the scouting SCD is scouting it, and now the first zealot is out to kill that, and now it's going to be a cybercore, I must guess. Yes, there it is. And will there be goons already? Yes, there will be goons as well. So it looks like Banana Brain is going to force a little bit of aggression on the hapless Terran opponent. And the zealots are running by. That's such a pro mechanic. And now it's zealots versus workers in the main. Tank pops out right at the right time, but the worker count for Sada has been thrashed. And even well, the natural's up and running now. So I think that push was not really truly committed. There were some goons, they weren't sent in. But a zealot run by sure has got the potential to do a lot of damage. Sada now with a very strong defensive setup. 2 bases up and running for Banana Brain as well. And I think this game has just normalized a little bit. First goon who got killed. Nice tank on the high ground. I like that mechanic. So impregnable. Goon must stand here and try to damage it. But there is just way too much damage, and if you are coming into this zone, you will be shot at by the bunker, and 2 tanks a little bit far in the rear, and Banana Brain going for some goons. I think that's good. There is a shuttle, and what that shuttle is going to do, I don't know. I can't see what's in it, and I think that's suicidal. But what will be in the... Oh, there will be a zealot, but the zealot will not then kill the tank. And the shuttle's dropping it on the tank again, but the zealot has got other ideas. And meanwhile, some goons are killed and others heavily damaged. So that really didn't work all that well. Oh, Sada just scanned that, so knows exactly what's going on. And now Sada just sitting back, having done a lot of damage, having caught up in workers for 2 bases. 38 is plenty. And Banana Brain has got a lot of workers, has got a small army, and that's not the worst, but the tech level of that army is not all that great. And if you are going to bomb a siege tank with a zealot, that zealot had really rather stay close to the tank and try to kill it. But that said, now there is a sort of a contain going on, and I don't know why, because there is an observer and there are goons, and Banana Brain should sort of see what's going on. The vultures, they only try to get into the natural choke, completely ignoring this base over here. Let's see if there is going to be a worker transfer which will give it away. But for now, oh, observer, nicely done, sees everything. 2 observers, that's pretty good. Also sees the dropship. And I don't know for the life of me why Banana Brain is letting itself get so contained by 4 vultures. Oh, this base got spotted. That's pretty good. Here comes the worker transfer, and some goons, they move out a little bit to try and defend the workers. Meanwhile, probe coming in. Oh, and that's not really an even battle. Sada, meanwhile, just sitting back on 3 bases, as happy as a clam in a shell, growing its tank count, and now Banana Brain is going to move out and kill those pesky vultures. There is one more, and you can see that Sada hasn't really got the biggest army count, but it's just waiting behind all these... Oh, the tank on the high ground has moved away. That would be so good. And with the dropship, perhaps some tanks here and some tanks there, and you'd be pretty safe. Right now, Banana Brain is roaming the map. Oh dear, dear, dear. The vultures are prioritizing workers so much that they completely ignore any hazard to themselves. Oh, and now we've got a Reaver coming in. And although Sada is on 3 bases, one of those is a mineral only, so gas is rather important for a mech Terran. And Banana Brain surely is not going to storm this, even if you've got this. Let's look, 77. And Sada is not losing a single unit. The dropship, oh god, this is quite an abortive attack. And the attack sort of gets aborted, and that was just 20-30 army supply thrown away for nothing. And these tanks, they are pretty happy. You can see that by their irrigated muzzles. They are just blasting away free goons all day long. And a nice drop over here. Siege tank sieging up in the mineral only of Sada and kills it. And oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. There is a Reaver crawling in the middle of the map. Sada trying to take this base, I believe, because it really needs another one. The main is going to mine out, and if Banana Brain has got the entire map, even though if Banana Brain isn't getting anything done in the natural choke, look at that, that's just too much damage. Observer getting killed, and Sada cannot be but pretty happy. You can see 1, 2 tanks, couple of vultures, couple of depots, nothing much happening. And although Banana Brain has got these bases over here, shown this base over here as well, pretty well done, it's still not really getting... You are not going to be able to attack a Terran natural choke with any kind of gateway and crawling Reaver army ever. That's not going to happen, it's not going to work. And yeah, that's... And sacrificing another shuttle. Oh, nice storm, that's a nice touch. But still, this is quite wasteful. Oh god, just turn around and kill all the bloody vultures, man. It's... Banana Brain is... Oh, they don't... Oh, they do attack it. This is completely wasted. And we've got a carrier just sitting there and doing damn all. Now going after... Oh, that mine hit just took the life out of the shields of all of these zealots. Another drop. Excellently done. And I think the next drop will be stopped by these shuttles. And the entire army is now chasing one vulture while this tank is killing the third. Or the fourth, really. Sada now is moving out. And the mines, they're killing a lot of vultures. But this one carrier is not really in a good position to kill all these units of Sadas. And morphing an Archon right there. So Banana Brain macro, yes, micro could be a lot better. And judging by Sada's ferocity, should be a lot better. Sada just took that like a monk, sitting back on 2-3 bases, biding its time, and then do the death push. Banana Brain with 40 army supply hasn't got a chance in the world, and why? Banana Brain making some interesting choices, while Sada is just advancing. Large army. Now what's it building? Lots of vultures. It's chewing through vultures like a champ, but... Oh, and another drop taking care of this base. Vultures taking care of that one. Third is mining still, and... Well, all the units are being built over here. We've got a couple of High Templars. We've got quite a lot of High Templars. And storming down from the high ground, or taking care of that science vessel, or these 2 science vessels. That might be nice. Perhaps taking out the anti-air and doing something with a carrier push. But right now, we've got two carriers, and how many Goliaths have we got? We've got 1, I believe. So they could do a lot of damage, but they are not doing so. And Sada is just going to reinforce. If I'm not very... Oh, there are not going to be any more Goliaths for reasons. Just to spite these 2 carriers, which have got, I think, 16 interceptors. Yes, they have, the full complement. But they just haven't got enough firepower to deal with this kind of Terran army. And yeah, there you go. What do? Will there be any anti-air? No, a couple of turrets here and there, but that's about it. Of course, Sada is maxed. And you could do quite well with 2 carriers. Now the last Goliath is dead. Oh, 1 more gets built. That's... I've got to give credit to Sada for that. Oh, there are 12 Goliaths now, and they are advancing. Interceptor count is slowly decreasing, and although some must be built, no, nothing at all. Oh, because this base over here got wrecked as well, and Banana Brain leaves the game, Sada taking another kill. So, what I wanted to show you was Mr. Proxy. No further secrets or tricks hidden up the sleeve. Proxy is in a murderous shape and has been, I must declare, from the few games I have seen this week, taking care of killing a lot of really good players. And yeah, that's really surprised me. Now going after the scouting SCV while taking a rather late expansion. Worker count is okay, not the highest. One drone being transferred to work in the expansion, but there you go. And Ironbot is, with this, well, not really too fortunate wall, in a good position, but as long as the vulture can't really move out. Oh, and this vulture knows how to shoot from behind defense, so that's good. And I think now that the Zerglings will have had that time. 3 vultures out on the map, and immediately we've got 2 Sunkens in a good position, so that's good. For now, we've got some kind of Hydra thing coming up. 1, 2 Sunkens, they are actually morphed, and there are now Hydras. They do need a couple of friends to engage vultures, and this grouping by Proxy is not good enough. Now, oh, the vultures are running by! 1 dies, 2 die, but the last one will kill 1, no, nothing. 1 worker. 1 worker, that's not the most. And I think that Proxy defended that quite well. 2 Sunkens, and perhaps this Hydra, if it isn't suicidal, will stay in its base for a little while longer. Iron going for a quick expansion, that's good. Used to be quite slow with... that's how you play Minesweeper, good lord. And you can see that Proxy is a little bit eager in getting out of the main base, and is suffering a little bit because of that, because for some reason it's trying to draw mines. Oh, and the mine just poofed, that's good. Oh, and that mine just hit, and that one too. And the 4 vultures clean up the last Hydra. And it doesn't really look like Proxy is getting much grip on the game. While Iron is losing some hit points. And Proxy will need to rethink its grouping, because otherwise it's going to be a quite painful experience. Oh, and it's trying to take another base or try to attack vultures with workers, which is not working at all. Meanwhile, Iron with the increased production, and you can see the worker count disparity there already. And a 3rd base, so Iron is getting back into macro mode, that's good. Proxy, what's that? That's a hatch. Needs better grouping, period. Because this is just throwing away Hydras and then eating a mine every once in a while. That's just not going to work. And if you send out 20 Hydras, they can take care of Marines, mines and vultures all in one fell swoop, and then you won't have that much of a problem with them anymore. Iron, however, is going for a 3rd base, and although... oh, there is... where though? I had a replay of Eckworth somewhere. I lost it. I will get it momentarily. Yeah. Okay. While the battle is raging. Sorry, just trying to load my mail browser and I've got an old PC, so that is really painful for my computer. Now the first tank's rocking up and Proxy is getting contained, so I should have picked my games better. And where is the replay? Yes, there it is. There it is. So we've got one more game. While Iron is just going to close the lid on Proxy. Proxy has got a bit of an army. And but you can see this immaculate containing micro by Iron just veering in and out, luring enemies into the tank fire, into the fire of these wraiths, and repairing everything behind that. Building a couple of turrets as well. I don't know if there is going to be any chance of a spire. Doesn't look like it. And, well, Proxy is going for a lot of lings, but truth be told, this is not going to work. Iron with the 4th base already, turrets all over the place. Upgrades are better, and you can really see this improved Ironbot dealing damage to a bot, which I wanted to showcase today, but which is not really coming off the ground. So, going to call the GG on this one. And going into the next one, it's Proxy again versus Steamhammer. And of course, I didn't really pick these games because Proxy won or whatever, but I just wanted to show it its play, and I like to cast games that I haven't seen myself, so this plan didn't really work as well as planned. Now, Proxy going for a hatch and a pool, while Steamhammer is going for a hatch, a sunken and a pool a little bit later, but with the defender's advantage. Oh, and that's a quick spire bollocks, quick lair right there. And you got to wonder that Steamhammer has got 2 more workers, so should be okay, and is going for a lair of its own. Now there will be a lot of micro. Proxy has got the worker the Ling advantage and will have speed a little bit sooner than will Steamhammer. Steamhammer though has got this extra sunken colony, and now Proxy is leading the charge. Speed is done, so Steamhammer might be looking at losing some Lings over here. That's one. But Proxy hasn't got the best pursuit micro, and these Lings are excellently microed by Steamhammer, and now with the sunken they do fight, and I think that Proxy is very wise in abandoning it. It shouldn't really have started that fight, but there you go. So here comes the Spire, and the Spire of Steamhammer is later. Steamhammer is building a little bit too many buildings for my taste. That sunken is really costing it a lot of money, mining time, and a worker of course. And this is going to be what? Oh, it's an Evo chamber. Hello. Evo chamber is there, and the Spire, perhaps with a good good spore, it might work. But now with 2 mutas overhead, I think that the Lings of Proxy are going to be a little bit more deadly, or at least the mutas are going to be more deadly. And will there be a spore? There is an Evo chamber. It's not doing anything, and no spore is being built. So that is a little bit peculiar. This Overlord is not being attacked, and with 2 hatches and now the work lead for Proxy, one must wonder why Steamhammer is building an Evo chamber and is not building any kind of anti-air. But there is a Spire up now, and while these mutas take their sweet time in killing all the Lings, oh, this might be it. Yes, there is a spore coming up, and the muta count for Proxy is not the highest. Should kill some workers now, but it's killing the Lings instead. And now the spore is up, so Steamhammer might just have held, and the spores are there, and the spores actually connect, so that's pretty well done. You often oh, that's perfectly done. 3 out of 3 pairs of Scourge hit the attack mutas, and Scourge is so hard to use for an AI. The movement and the micro and the decision making. Oh, but Steamhammer just took 3 out of 3, and this muta had to really be rather careful. But now, yes, you can see, oh, they took the full health muta down, and this is beautiful, beautiful play by Steamhammer. Another dogfight, and I think that Steamhammer just did really good for itself. Proxy, though, has started an expansion, so... Oh, and Steamhammer is sending some Lings after that, and that's very good as well. There is a muta overhead, but these Lings might really do some damage. There is nothing defense, no spores, no sunkens, and although Steamhammer really needs a couple of drones mixed in there, because Proxy will outproduce Steamhammer at this pace, and of course if the natural ever gets operational, that will be a major problem for Steamhammer to deal with. But the defense with that spore was excellent. Could have been a little bit cleaner. The prioritizing of Proxy wasn't all that good. And now a lot of Lings are dying because of mutas. Muta count is 4 to 1. What's Steamhammer building? Steamhammer is building Lings for some reason, and I really don't know why. And still losing a lot of Lings. And Proxy now has got this up and running. Still no defenses, but a 2 versus 1 base economy. It's 26 versus 10 workers. And although this spore is doing major damage to the mutas of Proxy. Oh dear, with the Scourge on top as well. That's pretty neat. And Steamhammer has got one more drone and is now making... Oh, Proxy will have to defend, but has got the upper hand, the high ground, so to speak. And these Lings, they might actually do some damage if they committed to killing some drones. That might really work. Might still work, but now the mute count for Proxy is growing. Another hatch for Steamhammer, and I don't really think it needs hatches at this point. It needs units, workers, and things like that. But Proxy, what are you going to do? Proxy is building another hatch as well and building a lot of muters. So in the fullness of time, I think that they might be able to take on this spore, and you can see the Overlords positioned right on top of the spore. That's excellently done. Might work wonders for Cers as well. The Spire though is under attack, and the muter count of Proxy is falling somewhat. Oh, there are 6 more. What the hell are they doing? So Steamhammer should still have a chance. Could do with another spore just for good measure. Of course, you need to protect that sunken as well, but the third base for Proxy is coming up, and another in-base hatch as well. No, that's not a hatch. Oh, that hatch just finished. So 2 more hatches. Proxy is really going loose on the map. It's... Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Lots of Scourge, not really rightly cloned. Another Spore, that's good. But Steamhammer can't really get out of its pit. Oh, that's bad muter micro, but they're coming in for the Zerglings. And now for the workers as well. Huh. Taking on this Spore, I think. I can't really see the health bar because of all the Overlords on top of it. But now some workers are falling, and it will soon be... Oh, there we go. Some workers are lost, but 1 muter and a couple of Lings are on top as well. So these Zerglings of Steamhammers can't really do too much. And it's 40 versus 7 workers anyway. Proxy is going into full macro mode, building more in-base hatches as well, more drones. Upgrade-wise, has got the upper hand as well. And now it's not really comfortable dealing with spore colonies for some reason, but it's killing the lair slowly, and that's got to be counting for something as well. Meanwhile, more mutants arriving, and yeah, work count for Steamhammer is now 7-6. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Couple of Scourge and a lot of damage done by this Spore. So Spores are very good in Zerg versus Zerg, but 6 versus 7, nearly 70 workers versus 70 workers, that's just not fair. And I think that Proxy, all the workers are being transferred all over the place. That's pretty wacky. But the production tab just looks like this. It's really out of balance, and it will only be a matter of time before more drones fall. And it is, Proxy has got this, oh, it's no longer 70, but there is just going to be too much coming in here for Steamhammer to handle. And that was the game. So, penultimate game of today is a Nightcat Terran versus Proxy, and let's see how it does in a ZVT. ZVT versus Iron wasn't really up to scratch, and I think I'm being a little bit cruel to take a Nightcat, but then again, Nightcat should not be underestimated. And let's see what will come out of this game. Nightcat starting with a barracks and a couple of depots. Can't go wrong there, I'd say. Proxy has got the pool ready and the expansion right at the same time. That's very neat. Bunker for Nightcat, that's very well. To defend, I think you need a really pro run by. Scouting drone is not getting in there. And Proxy is going for a lot of workers. That's 15 already, that's quite a lot for a Zerg. Oh, and these Marines are pretty stupid, but the bunker is still standing, so that's good. How many Marines are there? There are about 4 or 5, so that bunker is full and kept full. And I think that these Zerglings really can't get in anytime soon. Proxy going for a sunken, I think. Yes, immediately upon finishing the creep colony, it's going to be morphed into a sunken. And it's going for another in-base hatch. That's a lot of hatcheries. And going for a contain, but Nightcat going to play bio. That is a good choice. And what upgrades have we got? Stim's nearly done. And with the Academy, I think we'll be seeing range soon as well. Meanwhile, more Marines are being built. Always a good idea to just produce a bit of army and M&M is very versatile. You can always use that in a TVZ. Meanwhile, second thingy for Proxy done, Sunken of course, starting a lair, and now, oh dear, that was quite a butchery of all the Zerglings. Marine stimming, medics healing, and range is done as well. So I think that Nightcat has really picked a good opening, and Proxy is rather unwise in continuing this this style of play with the many Zerglings. Now it seems the Zergling stream is drying up. The Spire is prepping, and that is going to be an Evo chamber. So preparing for some kind of an air attack while starting a third. And that is why, as a Terran, you need that army, because once a Zerg gets more bases than you and has access to the entire map, has got map control, it's going to be pretty scary. But with 2 bases and a lot of bio, you can't really go wrong. Nightcat could build more barracks, because this hybrid play with lots of upgrades, and that is a factory. Factory is not going to build anything, so it will just be Marines. And here we see the first mutas coming out of... oh, they are here already. First mutas by Proxy. And let's see how good the muta play actually is. Mutas are being grouped. But, oh, that is quite a nice army. And mutas are going straight for the natural, while they could be doing a lot of damage here. Not doing so right now. Muta count is 8, so they can pack quite a punch, but perhaps Proxy is just going for map control and will be preventing Nightcat from moving out. Of course, defending versus mutas is easier because you have got less grouping issues. If you are going to attack, it's very hard to keep moving in formation, not make this long drawn out line of Marines, the thin white line that will be so delicious for mutas to gobble up. And more mutas are being built, and that's, I think, is good. +1, that's always nice to have, and Marines haven't got the +1 armor yet, so I think Proxy is doing okay. I'm going to speed it up just a tiny little notch, this being the penultimate game. Yeah, there we go. And we have got Nightcat with the army which is growing in strength, and Proxy is just going for the choke. And that's pretty choked up with a lot of Marines. Oh, and now Nightcat has had enough, is going to move out, and Proxy will have to defend. Has got 4 Sunkens, has got quite a number of mutas right now, 14. And here comes the line of attack. And you can, certainly with 14 mutas, yes, there you go. So now you can see units are being killed, being picked off, and 4 medics on a bridge is very, very dangerous. Because if your Marines arrive at the Sunkens without medic support, that can be quite deadly. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And now the micro from these mutas is pretty good. How many are there? There are 14, and there is a lurker as well. And if it can reach the bridge, I think that Nightcat has just balked itself, because even though you've got scan, that's pretty deadly, 1 lurker. And with some lings and some mutas. So this bridge is pretty tight. Tightly defended by the Zerg, that is. Scan going off, but the tanks are just not in range, and the Marines, while stimming and attacking a lurker with mutas overhead, that's not really a good hobby for any kind of Terran army. Now we've got more lurkers coming up. I think that's good, and we've still got these... oh, there are 12 mutas now, but still got a lot of mutas, and the mutas are killing all the Marines as fast as they are being sent in. Muta count still 12. Lurkers should be a little bit more careful, at least until the tanks are dead. The mutas, though, are really doing a lot of damage, and there are only 2 Marines produced at a time, while the 4th base for Proxy is brewing. And this should be a little bit easier than Proxy is making it look right now. Lots of scans being expanded, so that's good. This one's empty, this one's empty, so now no more scans for lurker defense. Muta count has dropped to 11, but so has Marine count. It's dropped to about 0 right here. And this 3rd base of Nightcat is in grave peril. Will there be... there will be a lurker as well, but it's really... the positioning of the lurker could be a little bit better, but the composition of Proxy I like so far. And what's it building? It's building... it's still growing in muta count, which is good, I think. And there is not enough anti-air to stop these mutas right now, and Ooh, Nightcat is really going to pay a hefty price for persisting in its foolhardy behavior. There is only one pair of barracks, and that's not good. Could do with a couple of Goliaths versus these mutas, or a science vessel, that might be good as well. And now Proxy has got free control of the map, full control of the map, free reign, and is moving right into the natural. Ooh, unfinished refinery, very sad. Proxy has got, oh, hive tech. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Has got 70 workers and is building ultras right now. 70 mutas overhead, and will soon be approaching max. Nightcat, main is getting low. Third has nearly finished, will finish. But the problem is that it's 6 versus 40 army supply, and that army supply of proxies is right on top of things, and these 3 hapless medics are going to fall quite quickly. So now we'll see a lot of Zerglings coming in as well, and if I'm not very much mistaken, I saw some ultras in the production queue earlier. The mutas and the Zerglings might very well demolish the entire Terran opponent. Oh, and here is the first muta. Have they got any upgrades? Yeah, almost. They've got the armor. Unfortunately, there is no Terran army to shoot at that beautiful chitinous plating by the ultras, and so many upgrades by Proxy. Proxy is not using defilers, just going to make more and more hatcheries. Oh, and this base is pretty pro, and I think that Nightcat could somehow restart over here, but Zerg's nearly maxed, now has to build overlords. But now the Zerg army is on a rampage, and Proxy is swarming out on the map. The mutas have got some weird scouting pattern. Are going to, and only if an enemy target is sighted, they are going to group up. You can see that here, and then they will try to attack it, but the Lings have gotten in right before that, and now the Lings have found that base, and the mutas are swooping in, all 38 of them. Good lord, that's quite a lot. Let's see how... That's a lot of damage right there. So yeah, that was the game for Proxy, and now I have got to call up the last game, a recommendation. The only one I was sent this week, so I'm rather disappointed at all of you, but you can't have it all every week. Last week we had some great human versus machine matches, and Javier, the author of Eckworth, sent me this one versus Steamhammer, and Steamhammer of course is a great adversary, and Eckworth said, well, I did something to the Wraith micro, so we'll be watching that, or the Wraith play. Can't recall the exact wording, but something to do with the Wraiths, and well, let's assume that he wouldn't have sent me this replay and said that if there wasn't anything to show. So let's watch the Wraiths. Starting out with a refinery and a barracks and a marine, so that's pretty good. Steamhammer, after having scouted the enemy, is going for a couple of Zerglings after the pool, quick expansion, and that's always good. It's not good to be completely without an army. Oh, the scouting SCV is snuffing it. With 3 marines up there, that's going to be pretty dark, because there are 8 Zerglings. They are going to find the other scouting SCV, and 4 marines versus... Oh, this one is being a little bit antisocial, and although all the marines get killed, I think that with the worker defense you might do quite well. Then again, you will need to send some workers to fight, otherwise it's not going to happen. And I think that Eckworth is really wasting a lot of time and money here. Again, marine killed, another worker killed. Starport coming up, so that will be producing wraiths, but then again, the SCVs, they should really be more committed to fighting. Oh, and this is just... Oh, this is horrible. So many SCVs killed. And oh god, no, not again. And another Ling coming in. So Steamhammer getting off to a good lead. Oh, there is a vulture. Was 2 vultures were getting some back. That's very good. Getting pinned down. Oh, what the? Totally missed that. How did that thing? It was built by that SCV, and while Eckworth was having grave difficulties in getting the stuff set up over here. Oh, there were vultures being built over there, right in the main base. That is pretty sneaky. Nice trick. I'm missing the entire game, am I not? So now we've got vultures in the mineral line for Zerg. And I think, yeah, this was not where the action was happening, and you can see the work count for Steamhammer 16. Natural is pretty good and impregnable, but who expects a factory to be built in your blind spot? And that is pretty painful. That's the spire coming up. These workers should be evacuated, stat. And these Zerglings, they should abandon it. And now I can sort of forgive Eckworth for neglecting its own worker defense, because that's just... Oh, and the Wraith's finally there. So we've got 2 starports with Wraiths. Oh, and it's a Hydra then. That's not good at all. Is that the spire then? No, that's the Evo chamber. But the mineral line is already in tatters, and there is a Vulture and a Wraith in the main, killing... Oh dear, they're killing all the Overlords. And right now you should abandon it. Build an Evo chamber over here and a Spore ASAP. You should be good. After all, you know, the Terran economy isn't all that great either, but... the Vulture getting caught once more. I think that Steamhammer got a little bit lucky there by the placement of this factory. And right now we've got we've got 3. Oh, and immediately, even before it finishes, the Wraiths do keep their distance from the Spore, and that means that there is still the Vulture over there, and Steamhammer thinks it's safe to transfer the Wraiths, the drones back. The Hydra finishes with the Vulture, but right now Steamhammer is in a precarious position, and this game has gotten right off the rails. The Wraiths, they don't really dare attack anymore, and these 2 they do dare. They kill the Hydra, and well, I'd like to say it's anyone's game right now, but Steamhammer is under a lot of pressure. Has got only 10 workers versus 22 of Eckworth, and Eckworth has got the natural up and done, and there is a nice batch of Marines. And with 2 control towers, I don't really know what you would want to do with that. Oh, that's good. We've got Lurker aspect, of course. It's unfortunate that there aren't any Lurkers in action yet, and it's very hard for these Lurkers to actually kill anything because there are only Wraiths, and Lurkers don't do all that well against Wraiths, I am told. But still 10 workers for Steamhammer. Steamhammer has got a lot of gas. Should perhaps transfer some workers from gas to minerals, because it really can only produce so much. And Eckworth is just going to do the Wraith dance over here. So the Wraith play is there, but it could be a little bit better. But if you are going to have a group of Wraiths like a group of Mutas, that might really work wonders in AI, because you've got so much APM to spare that you can just pick out a weak spot and try and roll with that. Meanwhile, 1 Lurker, 2 Lurkers, and the Wraiths are right on top of the Lurker, so will that Lurker eventually reach the enemy? Yes, perhaps, but there are 2 comsats. There is a well-placed turret over here, and Marines just kill it before it even burrows, so that's not really all that hot. And Eckworth is taking its sweet time, building a lot of barracks right now, and a science vessel. So yes, is going to be in good shape, has got the irradiate option at its disposal, and Steamhammer really can't get out of there, is now building a drone, and 1 Ling, and an Overlord, because it's supply blocked again. And right now Eckworth is just going to break this with all the Marines, and the Wraiths, they are there, but they are not really, only once the Spore is dead, and Eckworth is going to take it. So, entertaining game. I'd like to see the development of this Wraith weapon. Oh, nice irradiate. Good bio play, and I think that was the game, so congratulations Eckworth, nice play. A little bit of refinement could work, but there you go. So please send me some games at the address up here in the upper left. For now, thank you everyone for coding, for watching, and supporting us, of course. Hope to see you again next week. For now, goodbye.